What is up, Packer fans? Back again. So finally, after it'll be 24 days, and the Packers only played one game in that stretch. So they had the mini bye, 11 days off. They had this bye with after the Monday night game, so like 13 days off. So a lot of days off for this Packers team to get rested and ready to go to Mile High Stadium to play the struggling 1-5 Denver Broncos. But for the Packers, it's not about the Broncos. It's not about the Broncos giving up 70 points against Miami. It's not about the Broncos struggling against the Bears and the Commanders. It's about the Packers doing what they need to do this week. After all this time off, a lot of guys got healthy. Let's go through the list of healthy guys. So Aaron Jones, he should be good to go. He should be ready to rock. Christian Watson, still healthy. Really had time to make sure that hamstring was good. Offensive line, Bakhtiari, we know he's out for the season, but Elkin Jenkins, he's good to go. We have John Runyon Jr., he's ready to rock. And so offensive line healthy, Dobbs, Watson out there. Hopefully we get Dontavian Wicks in the mix a little bit more. A lot of people asking for him to get the ball more. But on the defensive side of the ball, Jair Alexander still on the injury list with the back. I hope it wasn't really a setback. I hope he's good, but that's something to watch. Otherwise, Quay Walker, he'll be good to go. Devondre Campbell, he's still out. They thought maybe he'd be ready, but I think it's still going to be a few more weeks. But otherwise, everybody else on that defense, I think Savage will be good to go. And so the Packers are looking like they're going to have pretty much their full slate of weapons on the offensive side of the ball and defense, the guys back on the defensive side of the ball. So that's going to be big for this team. Going into Mile High, it's going to be about the Packers executing. Can we run the football? The ball, I mean, we know that Jordan Love played at Utah State. He played games in Colorado and then in Wyoming. So he's played at elevation. He knows how the ball sails. Some of the other guys were saying they weren't too worried about the elevation. It does catch up with you a little bit more than players think, especially when you start running and exerting yourself. So we'll see how that plays a toll. But I'm hoping the Packers can run the football. They got A.J. Dillon going last week. That was really nice to see. He seemed to be running behind his pads and actually moving forward and getting extra yards. Jordan Love played a bad game. 3 interceptions. He can't be doing that. But for the Broncos, they still have Russell Wilson. They've got a decent running back tandem with Javonte Williams and the rookie McLaughlin. And then so at wide receiver, though, they still have huge weapons. Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton. And then they have Marvin Mims Jr. And so they do have an onslaught of receivers and weapons, running backs that can catch out of the backfield. Russell Wilson is still shifty and still can move. He's 4th in the NFL in touchdown passes, and he has over 150 yards rushing. So we have to make sure he stays in the pocket, and if he does get outside the pocket, we have to have guys ready to make the tackle. Don't let him get free. Packers have seen him at his best, NFC Championship games where he's played well, and even though we did get after him, and then games where we've picked him off, I think 5 times in one of those games. So hopefully at Mile High, Packers only go here once every 8 years. So hopefully this year we can get after him. Packers struggled last week against the Raiders. Should have won that game. Defense only gave up 17 points. But this week, I think the Packers can really get back on the winning track, get back to 500. They'll be 3-3, not go on a losing streak. They've lost 2 in a row, so hopefully they can bounce back this week. The bye. Broncos are coming off a Thursday night game, so they do have kind of a mini bye. But for the Broncos, I mean, the offensive weapons are there. They do put up some points. Obviously, they got blown out, but they're able to score. And then the defense, they still have Justin Simmons at safety. They still have Kareem Jackson at safety. They still have Patrick Surtain at corner, who's, all-pro guy. So they have weapons on the back end who do want to take the ball away. Up front, Nick Bonito, he's like 8th in sacks, I think, this year. So he's really getting after the quarterback. And the Packers have to be able to run the football. Alex Singleton is going to be middle linebacker, and then Jewell on the outside. So they have some linebacker weapons, some safety weapons, all-pro corner. So the Broncos do have some players. It's going to be up to the Packers, like I said, again, to just execute their game. Can they run the football? Aaron Jones should be back. Hopefully he's not on a snap count. They can use him like they need to. Hopefully he does not get injured again. We need to make sure that he stays on the field. Obviously, he is one of our most explosive playmakers. Getting Watson back and having him be full strength, that's going to be huge. Dobbs had a really great game before Watson came back. Before last week against the Raiders, he had 9 catches and 95 yards against the Lions. Against the Raiders, then not so well. Nobody did that great. Watson had that one big catch with the horse collar, but Jordan Love struggled, and so the offense struggled. Even though we ran the ball well and we were in the game, it just wasn't enough. You can't score 13 points and expect to win in this league. So for the Packers, Jordan Love has to play better. Offensive line should be playing well. This defense has been great. Rashawn Gary, 4.5 sacks. In 5 games, that's really incredible coming off the torn ACL. And then Preston Smith got going last week. Kenny Clark is constantly going. I think he has 4 sacks this year too, so he's been getting after it. And then getting Quay Walker back will be big. I know Isaiah McDuffie's played well in the middle, and Eric Wilson's played well at linebacker too in Quay's place. So guys have been playing well, but on the back end, Rudy Ford, run stuffing and intercepting passes. He's been playing great, and Rasul Douglas and Jair obviously doing what they do. Packers just need to contain the run and force teams to throw it, and then the secondary can eat. So hopefully we'll see a nice little complimentary football. Packers on offense, they need to score points early though. They can't. The last 3 weeks in a row, they've only scored 6 points total in the first half. That's not going to cut it. They need to get going early. They need to score some points in the first quarter, hopefully. Get on the board in the first half, maybe 10, 13 points, get going early, and then they're really good at coming out after halftime, as we've seen against the Saints and other teams where they get rolling against the Lions as well. And the Broncos have been kind of sluggish coming out at halftime. So if the Packers can be in the game or in the lead early, they can hopefully carry it through the rest of the game and get this win. They do come back home next week to play the Minnesota Vikings, who are struggling and won't have Justin Jefferson for that game either. So for the Packers, this is a really, really big opportunity to get this win and then go home and play the Vikings and maybe get another win, get back on the winning side of the record. So go Pack Go. Let's see what they can do. Jordan Love needs to play better. We need him to get going and then run the football. Aaron Jones will be back, like I said. A.J. Dillon should be able to run the ball. And then just play tough defense. I think the Broncos are going to struggle on offense a little bit. Russell Wilson has thrown interceptions, and they've struggled to score points. So last week against the Chiefs, they only scored 8 points, so they lost 19-8. Obviously, the Chiefs struggle, but Thursday night games are weird, and divisional opponents, it's kind of a tough thing so to monitor. And then you have all the outliers like the 70 points that the Dolphins scored, but John Runyon Jr. said we're going to look something like the Dolphins this weekend, so maybe the Packers are going to put up 70 points. We will see. Go Pack Go. Peace out, guys. See you next time.